Welcome back to Consider This. Melisa and Sharaad talking to one Saiful, one Jan, BERSATU Supreme Council member. Sharaad, you had a question for one.
Let's look at the kind of a topic that often reaches people in terms of the coffee shop talk, right? Which is, you know, Mahathir's had now coming up to 2 years at the helm, and all these problems we see. And the question is whether he's responsible for those problems. And people are suggesting Anwar Ibrahim should take over, and there's some, you know, the succession talk that the shift in leadership will change the tone of government, will improve messaging and so on and so forth, because Anwar is much more steeped in the politics of Pakatan and its, you know, in its early successes. What do you think?
Well, you mean the transition from
Yes.
Mahathir to Anwar? Well, that's a promise that Tun Mahathir has made as Prime Minister, and he keeps saying that, and I think when it comes, it will come.
But is that good enough for a lot of people? Because the idea...
It's not good enough. For a lot of people, it's not good enough, and that is exactly the problem. When are we going to stop playing all this politics? We are in government now. We should govern. We should show that we can serve the population who voted for us.
Okay, let's put it this way. Should Anwar be in cabinet? And wouldn't that be a stronger combination and solve this problem of succession?
Well, he doesn't want to. He keeps saying that he doesn't want it. You know, so all those people around everybody should just stop all this internal bickering and focus on serving the public. There are so many problems that we need to solve, and if we don't move away from all these internal debates about who gets into what position, we will never be able to lead coherently as a government. So, you know, I always try to avoid getting into this kind of debate, because I think it's a waste of time. When the time comes, it will come. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come.
Okay.
But we need to lead this country.
I think in this past, 18 months or so, that leadership has been very shaky in terms of governing a country. Now, there's been a lot of talk about whether Pakatan Harapan is going to be a one-term government. I'm just wondering, at what point do you think that people in government will realize that there is a real danger of this becoming true? And what do you think needs to shift for that not to happen?
I mean, it's not just a question of changing the coalition at the helm, that the reversal of the institutional reform, a return to the kleptocracy that Barisan Nasional exercised so well, I mean, you know, will become Malaysia's fate. So, you know, it's not just Pakatan, it's the country, really.
Well, the return of that kleptocracy is not going to happen under this government, definitely. You know, but I think nobody is talking about that, and people are trying to remove those problems that we had before from this administration. But this issue of one-term government, to me, again, elections happen every 5 years. So we have a short time frame to deliver on what we can deliver. As far as I'm concerned, I'm focusing on what I can deliver now. Whether the public chooses Pakatan Harapan still in the next election or not, I think time will tell. And if we can create a solid track record of delivering what the people want, then they will choose us again. If we continue to fight the way we're fighting now, then maybe we don't deserve a second term.
Yeah, and true. And I think Malaysians have been very critical. They showed over and over again that they're willing to throw out governments, right? We've seen it in Kedah, we saw it in Terengganu under Hadi, and so on and so forth. I want to ask you, you used to lead a think tank. You were a critical voice. You joined party politics. You've actually become quite silent on a lot of public issues. Do you regret this move? I mean, should good people, and I'm suggesting that of you, move into politics, or is it too toxic to remain there?
Well, the culture of civil society, think tank, the intellectual sphere is very different from the political realities. And I think I'm now more grounded to what's actually happening. I mean, you know, we can sit here in KL, discuss about what should and should not be done. When you're actually in politics, you realize what can and cannot be done. And some things take longer than others. But then again, you know, if we have more good people joining party politics, I think the country will move towards better. Because, you know, I'll give you myself as an example. When I'm given a task, I just want to deliver on that one. I don't really care about what's happening, you know, after that. So at PTPTN, I have 2 years to deliver. My contract ends in June. So I'm trying my best to make sure that all the ideas, all the proposals, all the solutions that I need to deliver to the minister is delivered on time. And I have done that. Even though contract ends in June, I have already done that. So I'm quite happy with where I am now. So now the political masters need to make the decision. If we can focus on delivering on the responsibilities we have been tasked with, I think the public will say, we want more of this, and we will keep you in government so that you can deliver on all the reforms.
But just again, I mean, I hate to circle back here again, but you can deliver the moon and stars to the public, but if you don't communicate that, no one is going to know what you've done even after 2 years in office, right?
This is why communication is again the key. We have a lot of successes. We have a lot of successes. It's not been communicated. When I say to you just now that institutional reform is being done too fast, to me is mainly because we're not communicating to the public quickly enough what are the benefits of this institutional reform. So they are saying, yes, you're reforming the MACC, for example, but what do we get out of it? You're reforming the procurement system, what do we get out of it? You're reforming this and that, what do we get out of it? And the question of what do we get is not conveyed quickly enough to them.
There is an answer to that, is there not?
There is an answer, definitely, but we're not telling the public. And that's a weakness that we have. That's a weakness that we have, and unfortunately, I'm not, someone who can do anything much about it. I'm trying my best to communicate on my side of things, but I'm one voice out of the many. This is a much bigger.
Is Dr. Mahathir the sole spokesperson for the government? It feels like everything has to wait for his okay and his final say-so. Is he the only communicator?
Well, I think if we look at the situation in government now, what we see is everything depends on him, just as you said. That's a weakness that we have. We have a very strong leader, a visionary leader, who is trying his best to make sure that the vision is shared throughout the government. But other people are clinging on to him, and that creates a problem in the public's mind. What happens after him? Are we going to be the same? Are we going to change? Are we going to change for the worse or for the better? That raises a lot of questions.
And I think we have to end on that note of questions. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you, and thank you so much for being on the show. That's all the time we have on Consider This tonight. I'm Melisa Idris with Sharaad, Kuttan signing off. We will be back with you same time tomorrow. Thank you for watching and good night.